I'm going to be speaking and going to be in conversation with Vidisha, who has been admitted to Carnegie Mellon University. I'm super excited for you, Vidisha, and Carnegie Mellon is a university that's really close to my heart because my son graduated from there, so I have so many interesting stories to share with you, and I think both of us can connect on an individual basis after this conversation. But what I'd really love to hear from you, Vidisha, is tell me a little bit about your experience with the Red Pen.
I think it was an amazing experience overall. Like, I love the way time was managed and how we started off early. Also, every activity that was given to me in order to ensure that I'm actually doing stuff that helps me with my major. For instance, my application was so centered towards computer engineering, which actually was an additional point and really helped. I feel like that was a key element in the application. They told me what exactly to do in order to achieve the goal and to reach Carnegie Mellon.
Right. I remember you, again, are one of those students who really benefited from starting the process early. You joined us when you were in the 10th grade?
Yes.
Yeah, and I remember your consultant working really, really close with you on your activities and your projects. And as you rightly said, we really kind of figured that we needed to tie your interest with the major that you were going to apply to.
Yes.
Would you like to elaborate on some of the extracurriculars that you actually did while you were in the 10th and 11th grade?
Yes, so basically I took up the math club. I also took up the coding club in my school. So I led the math club, so that would help me with my computer engineering major. Also, they suggested that I could write a research paper as well as a project. So I actually worked with Omotech, which was a suggestion from the Red Pen. They helped me with like a presentation, a research paper, and a hands-on project, which was totally based on computer engineering. Wow. So that was a really good addition to my extracurriculars.
And we all know getting to Carnegie Mellon for computer engineering is not easy at all. It's one of the most competitive majors, computer engineering and computer science at Carnegie. Carnegie is just something else, so academic. Also, Vidisha, I know, for a fact that you were someone who actually planned your standardized testing a lot earlier, and you kind of went about this whole process in a very strategic manner. And of course, you had a stellar SAT score. So tell us about how, you perhaps felt that the Red Pen helped you figure the right time and the right process and when to take the test so that you would actually relieve the stress when you came to the 11th grade.
Yeah, so Sanjana, my counselor, helped me a lot with this. She suggested that I finish my SATs before I actually entered like the 11th grade. So we started the SAT preparation in the 10th grade summers, and by the starting of the 11th grade, like in October or so, I gave my SATs, and that too in Goa because it was all the COVID times.
Yeah.
But that was an amazing decision because my first score was only my top score, and then after that I barely had to prepare for the SATs, so I didn't have to give it that much time, and that helped me manage my IB and my extracurriculars and thinking about my university. So SAT was out of the checklist long before the process began.
Right. I think two very important points that you kind of touched upon, Vidisha, here. One is actually getting your SATs done before you actually come into your senior year of high school, because at that point you're dealing with so many pressures, right? Especially if you're an IB student, you have your extended essay, you have your TOK, so many internal assessments, and actually having this component out of the application process must be a huge relief, I'm sure. Right?
Yes.
Also that you took that extra, step and went out of your comfort zone, went to Goa and did the test as well. I think you really did push your own boundaries. Yeah. I think that was really, really important. And the fact, I think, that you started early and made these choices a lot earlier. Yeah. Right? Another thing that I would love to hear about from you is about your essay writing process and how the Red Pen actually helped you with that.
So when I initially started writing my essays, I realized that I wasn't going as much in depth as the prompts would like me to. So when I had a conversation with my mentor, Viji, she actually helped me open up so much and realize so many things about myself that I didn't know. Yeah. And that really reflected in my essay writing skills. And I feel like Viji knew me so well, and that's why I was able to write a very good essay with which gave an in-depth analysis of who I was as a person that CMU I think really liked.
Yeah, and actually looking within is so difficult, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's always easy to write about other things, other events, but talking about yourself is not an easy thing.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like a lot of the time students really don't want to talk about themselves and their achievements. They almost feel like, we don't want to like kind of show off about what we've achieved, but it's very important to let the admissions officers know about your awards, your honors, and what are some of the extraordinary experiences that you've had as an individual. So I'm glad. I know your consultant and content specialist was speaking to me so many times and telling me that we want her to get a good understanding of the kind of professors that are at Carnegie Mellon, the kind of extracurricular opportunities that she can tie in with some of the things that she's been doing. So I'm glad you kind of, went with our advice and dug a little bit deeper. Also, I think what we would really love to hear from you, did you have any obstacles along the way in the application process?
Not with, I feel like Red Pen helped me overcome all those obstacles because obviously time management is really difficult, and if you have a huge university list, then it can get really cumbersome to write all those essays. But Red Pen helped me concise that list, which actually helped me manage my time and also focus on IB, my grades that are also an integral part of any application. So I feel like that was something really good, and they were always there. Like, you were always there for me when I needed any like assistance with my application process, which made it so much faster, convenient. And so I feel like Red Pen was amazing with that.
Wow, I'm so glad to hear that you felt like we were in your corner and we were there to answer all your questions whenever you needed us to be there. Tell me, Vidisha, how did you feel that the Red Pen helped you grow through this process, and what were some of the things that you learned?
I learned how to really write essays well. I learned how to reflect on my own personality, my identity. I also developed many skills through the extracurriculars they provided me. I wasn't sure about computer engineering as a major, but as soon as I actually dealt with like hands-on projects that the Red Pen recommended to me, I was extremely sure that I actually enjoyed doing this major. And so Red Pen really helped me build a few of those skills and gave me like assurance.
Yeah. Another thing that I remember speaking to your consultant was when you were actually thinking whether to apply early decision to Carnegie Mellon, and at some point you kind of got cold feet, and did you feel like we were supportive enough through that process to help you narrow down the right college and institution?
Yes, you really were, because the thing was that so many of my friends were applying to so many universities. I knew I wanted to go to Carnegie Mellon, but there was just that little bit like, what if I don't get it? I need to get into a good university. But obviously the Red Pen was there.
Instrumental.
It was always there with me, and they had my back, and they said that your application is really strong and you need to decide on like fixed colleges instead of focusing everywhere and dividing your attention. So I think that really helped.
And also the kind of major that you've applied to is so competitive, and more so unfortunately for young boys, males who are applying for these competitive majors. It's definitely something that you really need to think about, very, very mindful, very thoughtful about where you're applying, what you're applying for. So I'm glad that you felt like we helped you identify the right colleges where you would like the programs. So that's absolutely wonderful. Lastly, I would love to hear your words of advice to our students who would be applying to college next year, and perhaps even for computer engineering.
Yeah, so the Red Pen does an amazing job guiding every student. So I feel like what the student needs to do is just be active out there and listen to everything that they say, because if we follow it all, we're definitely getting into a dream university. The thing is that as y'all told me that I should give my SAT first, I followed that. I gave my SAT first, got it out of the way. Then y'all told me I should focus on my extracurriculars. I followed that and got that out of my way. Then I managed my time so well with all the essays because of how y'all actually manage my deadlines. And if every student manages those deadlines and follows them and actually keeps up with the Red Pen, then they'll definitely get in where they want to get in.
Thank you so much. That's great advice for all our students. Okay, so Vidisha, I was speaking to your parents and they were telling me that throughout this process, they were pretty hands-off. And that's, really refreshing for me to hear because more often than not, we see parents wanting to be a part of the whole process. They want to be part of the essays. Sometimes we even see them looking at the essays and asking the students to kind of rewrite it because it wasn't kind of resonating with their thoughts and ideas. So tell me, how, as a student, did you feel, with your parents not being a part of this process? Because I know as a mother, and I know my daughter would have been super happy that, my mother is not involved. How did you feel?
Yeah, I was really happy, and I feel like they didn't need to be a part of the process because they trusted the red pen so much. The communication between on the WhatsApp group was so quick and efficient. I got all my queries answered within like seconds. And so
we really tried ourselves on that.
And so it was amazing. My parents really trusted the red pen with the entire process, and they didn't feel like they had to be a part of it. So I give all the credits to y'all in that case.
Thank you. That's so sweet. But all credit to you as well, all your hard work. Without that, none of this would have been possible at all. We could have given you the best of guidance, but without your dedication, I don't think it's any easy thing to get to Carnegie Mellon for sure. Last but not the least, I would love to know what your reaction was when you actually saw that email saying you've been admitted.
I actually didn't believe it. I told my parents to check it again. I was like, this is impossible. It's unreal. So then I told them to check it again and again, and till it sunk in, and I was like, oh my God, I finally got into my dream university.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for having the red pen being a part of your journey.